Good day, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Wumi Ojurongbe. This is actually my first video. In this channel, I'm going to be teaching some fashion tutorial. So please subscribe to my channel to encourage me to do more. My first tutorial will be on how to cut a princess dart bustier. A princess dart bustier. May God help us all. And before I start, this is the measurement I'm going to use. Shoulder 15, yes, that's the shoulder to the point, shoulder to bust, that's the point, 11 and a half, shoulder to under bust, 14 and a half, shoulder to waist, 17. Then round the bust is going to be 42, and the under bust 36, while the waist is 37. And what we're going to need for this tutorial is the curve ruler, my tape rule, my marker, because I'm going to use the brown paper and I want it to be clear. If I use the pencil, it may not be clear. So I want everything to be visible. So this is what we're going to need, all set. So now we start. If you look at this brown paper, I have measurement there so as to make the video, so as to make it fast. So I already measured the shoulder to the bust, then to the under bust, to the waist, and here is the sewing allowance, the last line. I hope you guys can see it. So the shoulder, the bust, the under bust, the waist, and the sewing allowance. So right now the shoulder is 15. So when you divide 15 into 2, that will be 7 and a half. So 7 and a half, then you had half sewing allowance to it, that's 8. Okay, and now the point of that person, the bust, that's the point to point of this person is 8 and a half. 8 and a half. So now we're going to divide the 8 and a half into 2. So if you divide the 8 and a half into 2, it's going to give us 4/4. So 4/4, when you have a 4/4, you measure it here. So when you put your 4/4, we are going to add ½ inch sewing allowance to it. So 4/4 plus ½ inch will give us 4¾ that's 4¾ So we mark it there. Another one, we'll measure it also here, 4¾ Okay, so now I said the shoulder is a 7.5 plus sewing allowance, that's 8. So I'm going to use 3 inches for the wideness of the neck, because the customer doesn't want the neck to be too wide. So it now depends on what you want. You can make it 3/4, you can make it 3.5, even 4, depending on what you're making. So I'm using 3 inches for the wideness of the neck. So, and I'm going to come down with 4.5. 4.5, that is actually what I want. So if you want something different, you can as well put it depending on the shape and everything. So I'm going to use my curve ruler to give it like a perfect round shape, as you can see. Okay, so now the shoulder, we're going to come down with ½ inch. Oh, sorry, we're going to come down with 1 inch because of the shoulder slant. So if you put it straight, it's not going to relax. It will not relax. So with that, you have to bring it down with 1 inch. So join it to the neck, to the shape of the neck. Join it this way. So now the line that we're not going to take for the armhole. for the armhole is, I'm using 8.5 for this particular person. 8.5. So depend on what you are using, depend on the size of the person. If the person is big, if the person is small, the person is not too fat, so you can use 8, 8.5, 9. So depending on what the person you are making the clothes for. So now I'm going to use that as my chest line. I'm going to use that as my chest line. So now I'm going to draw the line there. So and bring it down. Bring it down to join it. That's from the shoulder. Okay. Now this is what we have. So right now I'm going to draw the line here. That's the point to point, the measurement I did initially. So I'm going to put the line here. So that's for the point to point. Okay, so right now the under bust, depending on how big the person is, the bust, sorry, if the person is busty, here, this under bust, you can go in with 2.5. You can go with 2/4. You can go in with 2. You can go in with 1/3 or 1.5, depending on the bust. Depending on how busted the person is. So right now I'm using 2/4 for this particular person. 2/4. So 2/4, that's for the where the under bust is. If you look at it, this is the under bust line. Why this is the point to point? This is the bust line. So this is the under bust. Oh, okay. Sorry. Even before I go there, sorry. The measurement I did here was from shoulder. I told you from shoulder to the bust, 11.5. So 11.5 here, from the shoulder to 11.5, you now add 1/2 inch. You're going to add 1/2 inch to it, so that will make it 12. The reason why we are adding 1/2 inch is because of the shoulder, the joining. We're going to use 1/2 to join the shoulder to the back, so we have to have that 1/2 inch to it, so that makes it 12. So that is the line you're seeing here. Then the under bust is 40.5, so we're adding 1/2 inch also, that makes it 15. So the waist also is 17. So we're adding, this time around we're not going to add half, because we're adding 1/2 inch for the shoulder, and here also we're going to add 1 instead of 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch for the shoulder, then 1/2 inch to join whatever part we're joining. If you're making a dress, the 1/2 inch you are going to use 1/2 to join the bottom part. And if it's like a peplum you're making, you're going to use 1/2 inch to join it. So with that, we are adding 1 inch. That means 1/2 for the shoulder, 1/2 for the bottom part, whatever you're joining. So I hope you get that. So sorry, I'm supposed to have explained that before jumping to that area. I'm so sorry about that. So right now, so now this is done, and I said this goes, I'll go in with I went in with 2/4 here. Then this side of this side for the this side will go in with 1/2 inch. That's the middle side. It will go in with 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. Then here, we're not going to put a mark here. We'll take measurement. Can you see it? 1 here, because we don't want the point to be too sharp. So we're going to put 1 inch and make another one, and make another measurement here, 1. Okay, so I will explain that to you later. So 1 inch. So here, the down part here. Now, since this one is 2/4, if the person is someone that has a big belly, really sorry, like tummy, if the tummy is big, you can, after making this place 2/4, you can reduce that quarter to 2 here, 2 here. But if the person is not, maybe it's someone that has flat tummy, you can just do it straight. You can make it straight. But right now, I'm going to remove quarter. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm reducing quarter from it. So which means I'm using 2 here, 2 quarter here. So this side also, I'm going to deduct quarter also here. So now I'll join together. I'm going to attach it together. I'm joining it together, as you can see. Okay, as you can see. And if you look at this paper, this is a single paper, not folded. If you are using fabric, which means you're going to fold it into 2, so that by the time you open it, it will be for this side and the other side. But because I'm using paper to illustrate it, I'm going to put this brown paper on the fabric. I always prefer to use brown paper. It makes it more easier for me, and makes it neater and to manage, and you can as well manage fabric very well with it. Okay, and especially if you want to get some pattern out of the fabric, you use paper, then you can paste it on the fabric. Okay, so right now this is what we have. So I'm using the sticky paper, as I've said, because this is just the paper. I'm going to use it. I'm going to paste it on the fabric later. So I've done this side now. Now it's remaining this point here. So here, right here is 8.5. That I have here. 8.5. Oh, sorry. Yes, I have 8.5 here. Okay. So right now I'm going to divide that 8.5 into 2. If I divide the 8.5 into 2, it's going to give us 2 quarter. 4 quarter. When you divide it into 2, it's going to give 4 quarter. 4 quarter. So right now, this side, I'm going to go up with 1/2 inch, while I'll come down with 1 inch. Let me explain again. I'm dividing this particular side, that's the armhole side. I'm dividing it into 2 because I actually put 8.5. So you can use 9, you can use 8, depending on what you want the armhole to look like. That means the size. Okay. So now dividing it into 2 gives me 4 quarter. So the 4 quarter, you take half up and 1 inch down. Half up and 1 inch down. So right now we're going to join this dot that is there. I said this bust because we don't want it to come out so sharp. So right now we're going to, I did 1 here, I measured 1 here. So now I'm going to join it together. So you use your curve ruler. I always prefer curve ruler, and if you know you can use your hand perfectly. There is no problem about that. But I prefer using curve ruler. I prefer my curve ruler for this. So it's going to go like this. Can you see it? I hope you're seeing it. So like this. So right now, if you look at this place, this half here and this one here, so that gives us what? That gives 1.5. So which means whatever I'm doing here, because I'm going to join this also. I'm going to join this also. This one, I'm going to join it also to that same line. I'm going to join it also to that same line. So because we have 1.5 inch in between here, so which means I'm going to add the 1.5 inch to this so as not to affect us when joining it. You have to add it back. So the 1.5 inch is here. If you look at it, 1.5 inch. Can you see it? 1.5 inch. You can see the dot. So right now I'm going to join it. I'm going to continue with the line. Okay, that serves as the replacement of this line here, the 1.5 inch here. So right now, this this one, I'm going to join it to this other 1 inch. 1 inch that I have here. So I can use this side, but I think I'll prefer using the inside so as to give it a perfect curve. Can you see that? Can you see that the shape is already coming out? Then this place, this sharp area, it must not be sharp, so you can use your hand to blend it up. It must not be sharp. Then that's for that. Then this other side, we need to join this line too to this, so which means it's going to go this way. This particular dot that is there, you can really see that this line, this curve is not actually touching it, but at least it's close to it. What we're trying to achieve here is for not is for this point, this bust point not to come out so sharp. So you have to be curved. It has to be curved. So with this side, I'm going to do the same to join it. I'm going to do the same. So perfect now. So this is what we have now. As you can see, can you see it clearly? Okay, can you see it clearly? So right now I'm going to do mark the armhole very well. I'm going to curve it. So now I'm going to pull the armhole, use my curve ruler also to join with this. It's going to join with this. So that's for the armhole. As you can see, that's for the armhole. And here the front part, you must go in a bit with 1/2 inch. The front part goes in with 1/2 inch. That's for the armhole. While the back side stays the same, it's going to be straight, but the front part goes in a bit with 1/2 inch. So right now I can do that. That's the 1/2 inch here. That's because you have to divide it into 2, which I already have the mark. I already have that mark here. So I'm going to bring it out with 1/2 inch. So which means I'm going to curve this. I'm going to curve this with it. Can you see that? So by the time I sew it, it's going to join with this. By the time I sew, it's going to join with this. Okay? So this is this for the front part. So I'm going to trim it now. I'm going to cut it. These are the waist parts. All this side as a waist part. So I'm going to trim them out, and I'll show you how to join it, how to cut the back side of it. We're going to make our measurement. I've not actually put my measurement on it. You will see. Just hold on. I'm going to show you how to put the measurement. So I trim it out. Please don't forget to subscribe and like my video. Please try and encourage me. This is actually my first video. As I said, it's my first video, so I'm going to trim this out as the shoulder part. Okay, please encourage me, like my video, and if there is anything you want me to work on, please let me know. I'll surely work on it. If there is anything you want me to adjust, because I can as well learn from you. So right now, this is it. so I'm going to paste the front, this middle part. I'm going to paste it on this, the side one, with 1 inch. It's just going to climb each other with 1 inch because we're going to use ½ inch to sew. So half for the middle and half by the other side makes it 1, which means 1 inch to be on each other. This is how I do mine, and it gives me a very, very good result. So I thought I should share it with you also. So after pinning it, then I can start taking my measurement. After pinning it, I take my measurement. So the waist is 37, half of 37, half of 36 is what? 18 and a half. That's half of 36 is 18, that's 37 is 18 and a half, and half of 37, that's half of 18, 9, that's 9/4. So 9/4 for this. Then I had 1.5 sewing allowance. 9/4, then 1.5 sewing allowance. Okay, then the waist, the underbust is 36. The one we did initially was the waist. Now the underbust is 36. Half of 36 is 18, and half of 18 will be 9. We have to divide the circumference with into 4 because this is just the front part. So 9, then plus sewing allowance 1.5. Then we'll take the measurement of the bust here. So the bust of the bust measurement is 42. 42 is 21. 21 divided into 2 will give you 10.5. So 10.5. Then if you notice something here, the waist, the underbust, I added 1.5 as sewing allowance. But here for the bust, I'm going to add 1 instead of 1.5. I'm going to add 1 because it always have excess because of the one that has gone in. So it have excess. It always have excess. So with that, I'm going to use 1 and now join everything together. So that's for that. Then here, I always prefer to trim it with ½ inch for trimming, because I realize, I don't know if anyone has noticed that after sewing, it comes down like this. After joining this center with the side, after joining everything, it comes down this way. So with that, I always prefer to trim it with ½ inch. So now I'm going to put the ½ inch. Sometimes I use 3/4. Sometimes I use 3/4, but I'm going to use ½ inch now. Then after putting it, I'll join it. I'll just slant it a bit to join the one in the middle. Sorry. So can you see that? I hope it's clear. I hope you're getting it. So now I'm going to trim it. So sometimes I use 3/4, but right now I'm using ½ After sewing it, if I notice it's still if I notice that it's still coming down a bit, I can still trim it. But right now I'm using ½ So now I trimmed everything. So this is the front part of it. So right now, what we're going to do next is cut the back, and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to paste it on that the paper. I'm going to paste it like this and add 1.5 inch by the side, the middle side here. That one will serve as sewing allowance. It will serve as zip allowance. So 1.5 inch this way. 1.5 inch. So I put it on it. Make sure they're equal. So pin it down. One and a half inch there. So right now I'm going to go in with 1/2 inch here. That's around the waist side. I'm going to go in, that's the zip allowance. I'm going to go in with 1/2 inch so as for the back to relax, so that I won't be folding at the back or popping out. So I'm going to go in with 1/2 inch, then pull the line. I'll roll the line. Can you see that? I hope it's clear. Then this side, I am going to add 1 inch as that allowance, because it's actually that at the back. We're going to put that at the back. So 1 inch as that allowance. So after putting the 1 inch as that allowance, then I'm going to add half here. The reason why I'm adding half here, please, I need to explain this. The reason why I'm adding half here is because if you remember, we added 1.5 inch here for the sewing allowance, but I added 1 here instead of 1.5 because I said it's always much by the side because of the bust. After sewing it, it will come out and there will be excess by the side. So that 1/2 inch that is remaining, that's what I'm adding here. If not, I wouldn't have added anything. I didn't mean I did 1.5 from here down. Now as sewing allowance, I won't add it. I'll just join a straight line to that 1 inch for that allowance. So right now I'm going to join it like this. I hope it's clear. Let me just use the curve, since this place is curved. So let me use curve. Okay, so then we'll join everything together same way. Okay, so right now this is a bit slant in because of the front. The front is always a bit smaller than the back. Your back is wider, so for you not to have too much excess by the side, that is the reason why we'll have to like trim it in 1/2 inch by the side. So right now, but because now the back, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it straight. That means the 1/2 inch will go back to the back. So can you see it? The 1/2 inch is there. Then I curve, I do the armhole. So let me just use my hand. Can you see that? That's for the back. So this is it just for the back. It's as easy as that. But please, I need to let you know one thing again. After sewing, because I usually reconfirm my armhole after sewing. If there is going to be any need for trimming, I trim a bit to adjust it. Especially because of the neck. Sometimes after sewing the neck and the sometimes the fabric can go this way. After sewing the neck, that's cutting the neck now. Like the 8.5 that we measure here. By the time you open it, you sew the neck, this place is a bit free. By the time you open it, will be free. So it can go wider a bit. So by the time you check, you see that it's giving you like, instead of the 8.5 plus 8, and instead of the 16 that is meant to give, it might be giving you like 17. So with that, you need to readjust it. So I always do that. I don't know if that works for every other person too, but that works for me perfectly. I always adjust it if there is any need for it. I take the measurement and adjust it. So right now, so the back, this is for the front, then the back now, the neck for the back. I'm going to go in with 2 inches. I can go in with 1 inch also. With 1.5 also, depending on what I want. But please do not go in with 1 inch. Do not go in, because by the time you sew the front, I realized that the front will pull the back because of the curve of the bust. It will pull the back a bit. So by the time you use 1 and you've already sewn 1/2 inch for the shoulder, the back will not, it will not relax. The person will not feel comfortable. It will go up, as in it will be touching the upper part of the neck in a way. That's to me. So I always prefer to go in with 1.5 or lower than that. Should I say higher? Oh, okay, 1.5 or 2 or 3. So I'm using 1.5. So I'm going to join it together. Please don't mind what I'm doing. By the time I trim it, it's the back. I just want you to see it. That's why I'm putting it on it. It's meant for the back. So right now, what I'm going to do, as you can see, I'm going to trim it. That's the neck for the back. So I trim that out. So this also, I'm going to cut everything out. Hope you are getting me the explanation. I hope you're getting the explanation. Please, if there's any problem, you let me know. So then don't forget to trim off the zip part too. So this is what is going to give. Then the front now. So this is what we have. So this is, let me remove everything for you to see. So this is the middle part. Remember, if it's on the fabric, which means you are folding fabric into 2. So by the time you open it, one side will be like this, and the other side will be this way. Okay, and this is one side of the bust, while other side too will be there. Okay, and this is the back. Everything is well explained, but like before you remove your front part, please don't forget to notch the zip part. Try and notch it, so by the time you're putting it on your fabric, you'll be able to know where the zip part is. And we've reduced 1/2 inch at the back, but that doesn't really matter. You still had your notch 1.5 so as to relax. That was why we removed that 1/2 inch. So that is where you're going to follow to do your zip allowance. That is all for that. Try it and let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to give this video thumbs up, subscribe, and share. Till next time, I will say goodbye. Thank you very much.